Mr. President, President Ronald Reagan once said, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." In every generation since the country's founding, brave men and women have stepped forward to defend our great country. Each one of them joined knowing that they might be called upon to sacrifice everything, even their lives. And in our history, more than 1 million Americans have paid that last full measure of devotion. It is only right that we return the honor. The tradition of Memorial Day goes back to the 1860s. It was originally called Decoration Day. Families of the fallen would decorate the graves of their loved ones. In 1888, Congress recognized this tradition and made it a holiday in the District of Columbia, and Congress made it a national holiday in 1968. For Gold Star families, every day is Memorial Day. Alabama is home to more than 6,000 Gold Star family members. These include children who were forced to grow up without knowing their parents, spouses who had happily ever after cut short, moms and dads who hugged their children goodbye for the very last time, families with an empty seat at their dinner table. As we honor their loved ones, we also ought to honor Gold Star families. Today, I'd like to do just that. I'd like to recognize 3 of Alabama's fallen heroes and their families. First, I'd like to recognize Sergeant Ricky Jones of Plantersville, Alabama. The former star running back at Dallas County High School, also known as Mojo, is remembered for being a giving person who was always there for his family and for his community. Sergeant Jones was known to consistently attend football games to support younger players who aspired to be just like him. His family always knew they could count on him. After his mother fractured her hip, Sergeant Jones took leave to come home and help in her recovery. His sister Jasmine recalls him standing at the door of her bedroom to tell her goodbye when the time came for him to return to Afghanistan. She didn't know that this would be the last time that she would see him. He was killed on Father's Day of 2009, leaving behind a wife and 4 children. Because of the impact he left on his community, Dallas County established June the 27th as Ricky Dwayne Mojo Jones Day. Dallas County High School also retired his number 3, as a tribute to someone who was a hero to so many on and off the field. Second, I'd also like to recognize Sergeant Jason Stegall of Tuberville, Alabama. From the age of 10, he knew he wanted to make a difference by joining our military. Even with injuries and several near-death experiences, this desire to serve never wavered. Sergeant Stegall's courage saved countless American lives. On one occasion, he helped stop 2 suicide bombers from carrying out an attack on a U.S. military base in Iraq. Another time, he led his men away from an ambush despite being shot just beneath his heart. Sergeant Stegall earned numerous awards for his heroism, including a Bronze Star and 2 Purple Hearts. His wife Ashley said his plan was to stay in the service for a long time because he loved every minute of being in the military. But this plan was cut short. At age 31, Sergeant Stegall passed away from a mission-related illness while serving on active duty. Ashley was left to cope with the loss of her teenage sweetheart and having to raise 3 sons alone, including a 10-month-old named Landon. Ashley keeps Sergeant Stegall's memory alive by reminding her sons about his sacrifice and his belief in our great country of America. Sergeant Stegall is honored at the Tuberville Veterans Memorial in Alabama. Finally, I want to honor the memory of Sergeant Irvin Hollett of Lowndes County, Alabama. On Christmas Day in 1952, Sergeant Hollett's brother Arthur received the news that his 22-year-old brother had been killed in Korea. Both brothers had lived and suffered under segregation and discrimination because of their race. Yet both loved this country and were proud to wear the uniform. Both brothers rose to the rank of sergeant. Sergeant Arthur Hollett, to this day, says that he has no regrets about his military service. He also says he is confident that his brother would say the very same thing. Alabama is deeply grateful for their strong belief that America is worth fighting for and even worth dying for. We will not forget their unwavering devotion to preserving the American dream for all of our future generations. Sergeant Irvin Hollett's name is etched forever into the wall of Korean War Monument here in Washington, D.C. You know, the Bible says that, quote, greater love has no man that he'd lay down his life for a friend. We may never have met Sergeant Jones or Sergeant Stegall or Sergeant Hollett or any of the other fallen heroes, but their sacrifice is an example to all. As we look forward and toward Memorial Day, I hope we'll remember this is not just another long weekend. It is time to reflect of the sacrifices made by all of our courageous heroes, all the American heroes who didn't want freedom to die on their watch. May we live to ensure their efforts aren't in vain. I yield the floor.